most endangered species in the world lives right here in Manitoba. The Poweshiek Skipperling butterfly can only be found in Manitoba's Tallgrass Prairie Preserve and a second site near Flint, Michigan. But conservation efforts happening here are giving the butterfly a nice lease on life in the wild. And joining us now to explain is Laura Burns from the Assiniboine Park Conservancy. Good morning. Thanks for joining us, Laura.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about this butterfly, because it's only found in certain areas of Manitoba.
Yep.
And then suddenly they started disappearing. Tell us a little bit about what they are and why they're significant.
Yeah, so the Poweshiek Skipperling is a tiny grassland butterfly. When they're full grown as adults, they're only about the size of a dime, so you may never notice them. But they are one of the most endangered species in the world. They used to range across the Midwest, US, and up into Manitoba. And now, like you said, they're only found in 2 locations in the world, making them critically endangered. So yeah, we're part of an effort to try to stop extinction from happening and stop them from being lost from Canada.
What are they? Why are they significant to us as humans?
So they're part of a complicated prairie ecosystem, part of the prairie puzzle, and they're part of Manitoba's natural history. I think we'd lose a lot if we lost one of the species that is only found in Manitoba from here in Canada.
Why do you think they were in trouble? They are in trouble.
They are in trouble. Yeah, it's a complicated question. We're working with a lot of research teams to try and figure out why the populations crashed about 20-25 years ago. We think it's something to do with a combination of climate change, probably pesticide use, invasive species, and just a loss of prairie habitat overall. But now their biggest risk to extinction is small population size. There are so few left that if a natural disaster goes through their area, they could be lost in a season because there's so few left.
Okay, so back in 2017, you decided, the Assiniboine Park Conservancy decided to do something about it.
Yes.
What was the effort and how did it go?
Yeah, we decided collectively with a group of partners here in Manitoba and internationally to start raising the butterflies at the zoo to give them a better survival rate and then release their offspring into the wild. So we caught 2 females in 2017 from the wild and brought them to the zoo and then raised their eggs through to adulthood for release the next year. And that's what we've been doing ever since then. So we just completed our 9th consecutive year of releases back into the wild. There
have been some bad years though, where the release didn't seem to help at all.
Yeah, it was a slow start. There weren't many left to find in the wild to catch, so we had to slowly ramp up our efforts. We learned how to breed them at the zoo, which really helped produce more of them. You know, and this year we had our 2nd highest release number ever. Nearly 200 butterflies were released into the wild, which is a lot considering the year before we started, only 5 were seen flying in the wild.
And it's not just happening here in Manitoba, it's also happening in Flint, Michigan. It's sort of a partnership between the 2 of you.
Yeah.
You're seeing positive results this year.
Yes.
They're also seeing positive results. Tell us what's happening out there.
Yeah, in sites where we're doing releases and nearby areas, we're seeing more and more Poweshiek. This year was unbelievable, the number we saw in the wild. I had hoped it, but never really imagined it would happen, that we were seeing more on our survey sheets than we could fit on the data sheet.
Wow.
And we saw about 27 times more butterflies on surveys this year in Manitoba than we did in our first year. And it's the same in the US where they're doing releases. So we have a long way to go to recover the species, but I think what we're seeing is those first steps of recovery, which is really exciting and so rewarding to be a part of.
So this will continue because there's a lot of work left to do.
There is.
And it's working.
Yes. Yeah, once we secure the sites we are doing releases in and they have good populations, we'll start looking at new reintroduction sites to release them to just make sure that population is healthy and robust to any changes that might occur.
Well, that is so exciting. Congratulations to you and your team for making this happen.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see a lot more in the wild, just naturally breeding and doing their own thing.
That's what we hope, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Laura, and congrats.
Thank you.